Today, we're going to talk about 3 things to keep in mind when purchasing a home from the mindset of a Green Beret. But first, if you're looking for more content on purchasing homes, becoming a homeowner, or mortgage financing, please subscribe to this channel and check out my other videos. The first component of a good home purchase that we'll cover is the old adage, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. But what does this mean in terms of purchasing a home? Well, essentially, that we're not going to be rushing into anything. And a lot of folks will get excited up front. Once they decide to purchase a home, and they'll get on Zillow, they'll start browsing, they'll look at the photos, maybe research some areas, and they get real excited. And when people get really excited, they tend to want to just jump into things, right? And look, that's understandable. Purchasing a home can be very, very exciting, especially if it's your first time, if it's something that you've worked towards for a considerable period of time. But we got to pump the brakes, because when you rush into things, you will typically, not necessarily make the best decision. You'll overlook key facts. Maybe you'll make concessions on that home or the price or whatever that you really shouldn't be making. So I would encourage you to move slowly, right? You decide to purchase a home, dip your toes in it. Just start looking at Zillow, but don't get emotionally attached to anything. Start reaching out to realtors, start interviewing them, figure out which one has the best base of knowledge for you, that the vibe is right. Start learning about the area, get tied in with a lender, figure out what these monthly payments are actually going to look like and all the other financial considerations that go into purchasing a home. And take your time with it. Don't let emotions overrule your reason or your common sense. And if you do this, you'll have a really, really good home purchase, and I think you'll be happy with the result. If you get carried away and want to rush through everything, that's when people tend to make decisions they regret, or maybe stuff slips through the cracks, or they just miss other opportunities. Component number 2, trust the process, ignore the noise. And look, I'll be the first to admit, even I find it difficult at times to ignore the noise because it is freaking everywhere. We all know the news outlets pump out negative energy, right? Because that's what they feel like is going to get them the most attention. So everything coming out of the news, well, whether that's TV, social media, whatever, is negative. And a lot of it is how it impacts the housing market, interest rates, affordability, do your best to ignore it. A lot of things are so over-exaggerated that every little instance, whether it's good or bad, is blown way out of proportion, right? I mean, every week something happens that's going to absolutely collapse the housing market, that's going to drive interest rates up to 10%. I mean, we've probably both heard it 1,000 times. Just try to plug your ears and ignore all that stuff, and instead, trust the process. And some of this is what we discussed in the previous component, but you have by this time, tied in with a good agent and a good lender, what you can afford, what you want to buy, you're educated on the areas, all the considerations, the pros and cons of a home. Trust that process, trust your decision making, trust the fact that you've crunched the numbers for yourself and with your lender, and that this is a good course of action for you. People that allow themselves to get pushed into panic purchases or withdrawing from the market altogether in a panic oftentimes will regret it. And the truth is, in real estate and a lot of other forms of investing, when the market's bad and the noise is loud and people are panicking, that's actually the best time to make a move, because you're going to hit it at the bottom of the market, you're going to have all the leverage, and you're going to be able to get many of the things you want at a pretty good price. Component number 3, preparation beats luck every time. Now, as a lender, when I say preparation, a lot of that goes into the loan. And I'll tell you that a lot of lenders half-ass their approvals. In fact, there's certain websites I can get on right now. I'll put in some basic information. Oh, I want to borrow this much. Oh, I earn this much. Oh, my debts are this much. And it'll pump me out what is called a pre-qualification letter, which basically is as valuable as toilet paper. Okay, you can't go under contract. It doesn't really mean anything. And why doesn't it mean anything? Well, nothing is verified. You haven't turned in any income documents, any asset documents. There hasn't been a credit pull. Your file has not gone through AUS. It's basically just an empty promise. So I would highly encourage you to work with a lender that does a lot of that due diligence up front. And the way my team does it is, yes, we collect all the documents we think we're going to need for that first round of underwriting. Okay, that's income, assets, like court orders if necessary, PCS orders for military, like all this stuff. And then we do put you through the automatic underwriting system. And this is designed to poke holes in the profile and identify anything that might trip us up later on. Because for me, I know this is corny, y'all, just bear with me. When I give you that pre-approval letter stating that you are cleared hot to spend X number of dollars, I consider that document to be a blank check, which means I can't renege on it later down the line and say, well, you know, now that I actually look at your pay stubs, gosh, I can only qualify you for half of what I promised before. That's just basically the worst thing a lender can do. So make sure that your loan package is being fully audited and underwritten before you go out shopping. Now, the other part of being prepared with your loan is having your lender price out individual homes, you know, hopefully at various price points or maybe different taxing districts, whatever, so that you have some clear insight onto what these homes are actually going to cost up front and on a month-to-month basis down the road. These are three critical components to purchasing a home from the mindset of a Green Beret. We're going to touch on this with some other components at another time. If you have any questions on purchasing a home, please reach out. We'll set up a phone consult. We'll go over the particulars of your situation and see if we can find a solution.